Good afternoon. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a manager who made you feel small, as if you were just another cog in the machine? And have you ever had a leader who made you feel unstoppable, as though the sky wasn't even a limit? Same workplace, same tasks, yet two entirely different feelings. Why? Because management and leadership are not the same things. But here's the twist, they're often confused. Let's explore why that confusion exists, and more importantly, why it matters. Management controls systems, leadership inspires people. On the surface, this seems like a simple distinction, but when you look deeper, it becomes the foundation for understanding why teams succeed or fail. Management is a tool, a method for maintaining order, efficiency, and predictability. It ensures tasks get done, deadlines are met, and processes flow smoothly. Leadership, however, speaks to something far more human and transformative, the ability to ignite a shared vision, to inspire, and to motivate people to go beyond what they believed they were capable of. To truly grasp the difference, imagine a thriving company. Its management team creates detailed plans, sets budgets, and monitors performance metrics with precision. Without this structure, the chaos of uncoordinated efforts would undoubtedly derail progress. However, management alone, without leadership, often lacks the spark that moves people to care about their work, to innovate, or to go the extra mile. Leadership turns the abstract goals set by management into a meaningful mission for the people on the ground. Consider a project manager organizing a complex initiative. They might meticulously allocate resources, draw up schedules, and define deliverables. Each task is documented, and every contingency is planned for. This type of management is indispensable. It ensures that no step is overlooked and keeps the wheels turning. However, if that same project manager fails to lead, fails to connect their team to the bigger picture or inspire them to take pride in their contributions, then their role remains mechanical. The team may execute flawlessly, but the work might lack energy, creativity, or a sense of ownership. Leadership, by contrast, begins with a belief in people and their potential. It's not about controlling processes, but about unlocking energy and enthusiasm. A leader doesn't just say, "Here's what we need to do." A leader says, "This is why we're doing it, and why it matters to you." When people are inspired, their mindset shifts. They become problem solvers rather than task followers, collaborators rather than competitors. Leadership transforms a group of individuals into a cohesive, motivated team. Imagine a school principal managing daily operations, scheduling classes, hiring staff, overseeing the budget. These are vital management functions, and without them, the school wouldn't function. But when that same principal stands up in front of the students and teachers and shares a vision for how their school will become a place of belonging, curiosity, and excellence, they are no longer just managing, they are leading. It's this ability to inspire that encourages a teacher to go the extra mile for a struggling student or a child to believe they can achieve great things. There's also an emotional dimension to leadership that management often overlooks. Management can feel impersonal because it relies heavily on rules, procedures, and systems. A well-managed workplace can feel like a finely tuned machine, where everything operates efficiently but without much warmth or connection. Leadership, on the other hand, connects on a human level. It's about empathy, trust, and understanding what drives people beyond their paycheck. Leadership fosters a sense of belonging and purpose, two things that no management system, no matter how perfect, can create. Some might argue that a good manager can inspire too. And that's true, but when they inspire, they are stepping into the realm of leadership. The tools of management are fundamentally different from the tools of leadership. A manager uses plans, metrics, and accountability systems to ensure results. A leader uses stories, passion, and shared values to mobilize people. While both can coexist in one person, they serve distinct purposes. When the two are confused, there's often frustration. Employees don't necessarily thrive when they are treated like parts of a machine, even if the machine is well oiled. A great example can be found in the world of sports. Think of a coach's role. The management side of coaching involves organizing practice schedules, reviewing performance data, and designing plays. It's precise, meticulous work that ensures the team is prepared and coordinated. However, the leadership side of coaching emerges in the locker room. It's when a coach inspires a team to believe in themselves, to play not just for the win but for each other. A great coach seamlessly integrates both. They manage the strategy but lead the hearts and minds of the players. Leadership's power comes from its ability to tap into intrinsic motivation. It focuses not on what needs to be done, but on why it matters to the people doing it. This shift from transactional to aspirational makes all the difference in how people show up to work or any collective effort. If management runs on accountability, leadership runs on trust. If management ensures compliance, leadership generates commitment. These qualities may sound subtle, but they produce profoundly different outcomes. When people feel inspired, they don't need constant oversight or micromanagement. They step up on their own. This isn't because they've been assigned a task, but because they feel deeply connected to what the work represents. This is why leadership is about influence and vision. It creates a sense of meaning that management alone cannot replicate. It touches hearts, and when people's hearts are engaged, the results often surpass what any system could demand. In the end, management keeps things steady, but leadership moves things forward. While management delivers order, leadership delivers purpose. The best organizations don't choose one over the other, they use both, allowing their managers to be effective and their leaders to be inspiring. But most importantly, they never mistake the control of systems for the power to move people. Management is transactional, leadership is transformational. This distinction might sound straightforward, but the implications are profound. At its core, management operates on a foundation of exchange. It's a system of give and take, one that focuses on tasks, responsibilities, and measurable outputs. Leadership, however, ventures into entirely different territory. It shifts the focus from transactions to transformation, moving beyond what is simply expected to create meaningful change and lasting impact. To understand this difference, consider how management functions in the workplace. A manager may delegate a task, set a deadline, and ensure it's completed according to a predetermined standard. They assess performance, give feedback, and reward compliance. These actions are all part of the transactional nature of management. There's an explicit agreement you do this, and you will receive that whether it's a salary, a bonus, or a simple acknowledgement, the relationship is clear and rooted in an exchange of value. Now, compare this to the realm of leadership. Leadership doesn't just ask, what needs to be done? It asks, why does this matter? And perhaps more importantly, it asks, how can this inspire growth and purpose in the people involved? Leadership doesn't operate on a strict one-for-one exchange. It focuses on how individuals can be elevated, challenged, and empowered through their work. A leader's job isn't simply to ensure tasks are completed, it's to create an environment where people exceed expectations because they believe in the mission and feel deeply connected to it. Imagine a customer service team led by a strong manager. The manager enforces policies, monitors call times, and ensures employees hit their quotas. Everyone knows what's expected, and the system runs smoothly. Yet, while this team may achieve operational efficiency, they might not feel particularly motivated or passionate about their work. The interactions may lack a human touch, focusing only on resolving issues as quickly as possible. This is the hallmark of a transactional dynamic. It achieves outcomes, but rarely creates a sense of deeper connection or purpose. Now, picture that same team with a leader at the helm. This leader doesn't just emphasize the metrics, they emphasize the team's impact. They share stories of how empathetic service can change a frustrated customer's entire day, or how a team's efforts help build trust in the company's brand. Instead of merely focusing on efficiency, the leader inspires the team to see their work as a vital part of a larger mission. In this scenario, employees begin to approach each interaction not as a box to tick, but as an opportunity to make a difference. This is the power of transformational leadership. At its essence, management is about maintaining stability and predictability. It's a system designed to minimize risks, streamline processes, and produce consistent results. While these are critical for organizational success, they often lack the ability to ignite the kind of emotional engagement or innovation that leadership brings to the table. Leadership, by contrast, embraces change. It seeks to create momentum, challenge the status quo, and push boundaries. Transformational leaders inspire others to rise above the transactional nature of their roles and contribute in ways that feel meaningful and fulfilling. Consider how the transactional versus transformational divide plays out in education. A teacher who manages a classroom might focus on covering the curriculum, tracking attendance, and ensuring students complete their assignments. These are all important aspects of their role. but they're inherently transactional. The teacher provides knowledge and expects students to absorb it in return. However, a transformational teacher takes a different approach. They cultivate curiosity, instill a love of learning, and encourage their students to explore ideas beyond the confines of the syllabus. This teacher doesn't just aim to meet educational benchmarks, they aim to shape minds and inspire futures. Transformational leadership also creates a ripple effect. When people are genuinely inspired, they don't just improve their own performance, they elevate those around them. Leadership focuses on fostering a sense of collective purpose that transcends individual tasks or goals. This stands in stark contrast to the transactional nature of management, which often isolates individuals by emphasizing specific responsibilities over shared visions. Transformational leaders make people feel seen and valued not for what they do, but for who they are and what they're capable of becoming. Transactional interactions are often based on fear of consequence or the lure of reward. People comply because there's a tangible benefit or penalty tied to their actions. While effective in certain circumstances, this approach can stifle creativity and innovation. By comparison, transformational leadership builds relationships on trust, respect, and mutual aspiration. When people feel inspired rather than obligated, they become more willing to take risks, share ideas, and step into their full potential. There's nothing inherently wrong with management. It's the backbone of structure and stability in any organization. However, when management becomes the only focus, workplaces can feel mechanical, devoid of passion or meaning. Leadership, on the other hand, breathes life into the system. It ensures that people aren't just completing tasks, but are growing, thriving, and contributing to something larger than themselves. Managers focus on the what, leaders focus on the why. This distinction lies at the heart of the difference between management and leadership. The what is tangible. It's the tasks, goals, and results that must be achieved. Managers are naturally attuned to these elements, as their role is often defined by overseeing processes, tracking progress, and ensuring that things are completed on time and within budget. Leaders, however, look deeper. The why is intangible but infinitely more powerful. It's the purpose, the meaning, and the reason behind the tasks. While the what keeps things running smoothly, the why inspires people to care and motivates them to go beyond the minimum. Think about how most teams operate in day-to-day life. Managers will often set priorities, assign responsibilities, and monitor execution. They measure the outputs of their team, ensuring that everything aligns with organizational objectives. These are critical functions. Without a focus on the what, companies wouldn't hit their targets and projects would stall. But when a team focuses only on the what, the work can start to feel robotic. There's no connection beyond the immediate deliverables, no greater sense of purpose. This is where leadership comes in, bridging the gap between routine tasks and the larger mission. Focusing on the why transforms work from mere execution into something people feel genuinely invested in. For example, consider a software development team. A manager might break down the project into milestones, assign features to individual developers, and ensure the code is delivered by the deadline. This structure is vital for keeping the project on track. But if the manager doesn't communicate why the product matters, how it will change users' lives, solve a critical problem, or improve the world, the team might lose sight of the bigger picture. They might meet their goals but miss the opportunity to truly excel. When a leader emphasizes the why, everything changes. Imagine the same software team being led by someone who explains that the app they're creating will help underserved communities access vital healthcare resources. Suddenly, the work becomes more than just code. It becomes a mission. The developers feel connected not just to their tasks, but to the impact of their work. They're more likely to bring their creativity, their passion, and their full potential to the table because they see themselves as part of something meaningful. Managers focus on the what because it's measurable. You can see a finished product, a completed report, or a successful campaign. These tangible outcomes are important indicators of progress. But the why isn't always as visible, which is why leaders must deliberately articulate it. They must make the abstract concrete, connecting every task and goal to a greater sense of purpose. People need to understand not just what they're doing, but why it matters. Without this understanding, even the most skilled and capable team can feel disengaged or unmotivated. The why also has a unique ability to sustain teams during challenges. When people are working toward a greater purpose, they're more likely to persevere through setbacks. For example, a group of volunteers building houses for a community might face bad weather, tight budgets, or other unexpected difficulties. A manager might focus on pushing through, staying on schedule, and completing the work no matter what. A leader, however, would remind the team of why they started this project in the first place: to provide safe, stable homes for families in need. That reminder of purpose can reignite the team's energy and commitment even in the face of adversity. Focusing on the why also fosters innovation. When people are deeply connected to the purpose of their work, they're more likely to think creatively and come up with new solutions. This is because they're not just trying to complete tasks, they're trying to achieve something meaningful. In contrast, a strict focus on the what can sometimes limit creativity, as people become overly concerned with meeting specific requirements or sticking to predefined processes. Leadership liberates teams from this narrow focus, encouraging them to explore, experiment, and innovate. It's easy to see why organizations often default to the what. After all, it's the what that delivers results on paper. It's the what that shows up in reports and presentations. But the why is the hidden force that drives long-term success. It's what keeps people engaged and committed even when the work gets tough. While managers ensure that things get done, leaders inspire people to keep going and to give their best, not because they have to, but because they want to. Focusing on the why isn't just about motivation, it's about alignment. When a team understands why their work matters, their efforts naturally align with the organization's mission and values. There's less need for micromanagement, because people are driven by a shared sense of purpose. This creates a culture of trust and empowerment, where individuals feel confident taking initiative and contributing their ideas. Leadership in this sense is less about telling people what to do and more about showing them why it matters and trusting them to rise to the occasion. Management demands compliance, leadership earns trust and commitment. This distinction highlights one of the most significant differences in how people are motivated and guided toward action. Compliance is a surface-level engagement. It's rooted in authority, rules, and systems that require people to follow instructions or meet expectations. While compliance ensures that tasks are completed and processes are followed, it doesn't evoke any deeper sense of loyalty, passion, or dedication. Trust and commitment, on the other hand, come from a much more profound place. They are not commanded but earned through connection, empathy, and integrity, which are hallmarks of true leadership. When someone complies, they do so because they have to. Compliance is often transactional, based on an explicit understanding of consequences, whether rewards for adherence or penalties for failure to comply. This is the foundation on which management often operates. Rules and regulations provide structure, and people comply because they recognize the authority behind them. For example, an employee might stay late to complete a project because their manager set a deadline, and the consequences of missing it could involve reprimands or poor performance reviews. While this approach can achieve results, it leaves little room for inspiration or intrinsic motivation. Leadership, by contrast, doesn't just aim for compliance, it fosters a sense of belonging and a shared purpose that naturally elicits trust and commitment. Trust is not something that can be imposed, it is built over time through consistent actions and genuine care. A leader doesn't rely on their position of authority to gain cooperation. Instead, they focus on creating relationships where people feel respected, valued, and understood. This emotional connection transforms work from a list of duties into a shared mission, and that shift is where commitment is born. Commitment is powerful because it goes beyond obligation. A committed individual is not just checking boxes, they are invested in the outcome. They take ownership of their role and often go above and beyond because they feel intrinsically connected to the goals they are working toward. Trust is the foundation of this commitment. Without trust, no amount of authority can inspire people to fully dedicate themselves to the work at hand. It's the difference between an employee who does the minimum to avoid trouble and one who actively seeks out ways to contribute because they care deeply about the team and its success. Imagine a manager who relies solely on compliance. They enforce strict rules, monitor performance closely, and create an environment where fear of failure dominates. While this approach may achieve short-term results, it often creates a culture of resentment, anxiety, and disengagement. People comply because they feel they have no other choice, not because they want to. Over time, this can lead to burnout, high turnover, and a lack of innovation, as employees are less likely to take risks or express their ideas in such a rigid environment. Now consider a leader who builds trust and earns commitment instead. This leader takes the time to understand the needs, strengths, and aspirations of their team. They create a safe space where people feel empowered to share their thoughts and where mistakes are viewed as opportunities for growth, rather than reasons for punishment. Because this leader has cultivated trust, their team feels a sense of loyalty and dedication. They aren't just following instructions, they are working with purpose, often pushing themselves to achieve more than they thought possible. The process of earning trust requires vulnerability and consistency. Leaders must be willing to admit when they're wrong, show empathy for others, and lead by example. When people see that their leader acts with integrity and puts the team's well-being first, they begin to trust that leader's intentions. This trust paves the way for deeper engagement and commitment. Employees are far more likely to invest themselves fully when they believe their leader genuinely cares about them and values their contributions. A simple example of this can be seen in how feedback is delivered. A manager focused on compliance might give feedback in a blunt, impersonal way, emphasizing errors and insisting on immediate corrections. The result might be a defensive response from the employee who complies out of fear but feels unappreciated or demoralized. A leader, however, approaches feedback as an opportunity to build trust and foster growth. They acknowledge the employee's efforts, frame feedback constructively, and emphasize their belief in the employee's potential. This approach not only addresses the issue but also strengthens the relationship, encouraging commitment rather than just compliance. Leadership also recognizes the power of empowering others. When people feel trusted, they are more likely to trust in return. Empowered employees are willing to take initiative, solve problems independently, and support their peers. They feel a sense of ownership over their work, which is fundamentally different from the passive compliance that arises under rigid management. Trust and empowerment create a cycle of mutual respect, where individuals are motivated to contribute their best because they feel valued and capable. In times of crisis, the difference between compliance and commitment becomes even clearer. A team that operates on compliance might crumble under pressure as people retreat into self-preservation mode, focusing only on avoiding mistakes. A team built on trust and commitment, however, rallies together. They support one another, adapt to challenges, and remain focused on the bigger picture because their motivation comes from within, not from external enforcement. Trust enables people to take risks and innovate without fear, and that is where true progress happens. Management optimizes resources, leadership nurtures human potential. At first glance, these roles might appear complementary, yet they represent two distinct approaches to achieving success. Management is rooted in efficiency, organization, and the effective allocation of resources. It focuses on processes, numbers, and systems to ensure that objectives are met with minimal waste. Leadership, however, takes a more human-centered approach. It's about recognizing the value of individuals, understanding their strengths, and unlocking their potential. While management seeks to maximize output, leadership seeks to cultivate growth, development, and innovation. A manager might look at a team as a set of resources to be managed: time, money, and manpower. Each person is seen as a contributor to the end goal, and the manager's role is to ensure those contributions are utilized optimally. This might involve assigning roles, monitoring progress, and reallocating tasks as necessary. When viewed through the lens of resource optimization, people become components of a larger system, evaluated by how efficiently they complete tasks or meet quotas. While this is not inherently wrong, it often reduces the individual to a functional role, overlooking the complexity and potential that each person brings. Leadership, by contrast, views individuals not as static resources but as dynamic, evolving contributors. A leader looks beyond the immediate task and sees the potential for growth in each team member. They recognize that people are not interchangeable parts of a machine but unique individuals with aspirations, skills, and untapped abilities. Leadership focuses on creating an environment where these strengths can flourish, benefiting not just the individual but the organization as a whole. A leader doesn't simply assign tasks, they mentor, guide, and inspire, helping individuals realize their own potential. Consider the difference in approach when managing a team through a challenging project. A manager might allocate tasks based on availability, ensuring that deadlines are met and resources are not overextended. This is a logical and necessary approach, ensuring that the project stays on track. However, if the team is treated only as a collection of resources, there's little room for growth or innovation. Individuals may meet the requirements but feel disconnected from the larger purpose or from their own potential to excel. Now, imagine a leader stepping into the same scenario. Rather than simply delegating tasks, the leader takes the time to understand the strengths and goals of each team member. They match tasks to individuals not only based on efficiency but also as opportunities for growth and challenge. The leader might encourage someone to take on a responsibility slightly outside their comfort zone, knowing it will help them develop new skills. They provide encouragement, support, and constructive feedback, creating a sense of purpose and investment in the project. The result is a team that is not only effective but also engaged and inspired, with individuals who leave the experience more skilled and confident than they were before. Management's focus on optimization can sometimes lead to a short-term mindset. Success is measured by immediate results, higher productivity, lower costs, and on-time delivery. Leadership, however, takes a longer view. It invests in people, understanding that their growth and well-being lead to more sustainable and innovative outcomes. For example, a manager might pressure employees to work overtime to meet a tight deadline, optimizing for the immediate need. A leader, on the other hand, might prioritize balance, recognizing that burnout will ultimately diminish the team's effectiveness. By nurturing the team's potential and well-being, the leader ensures not only that the deadline is met, but that the team remains motivated and capable of tackling future challenges. This distinction is especially important in today's fast-changing world, where adaptability and creativity are critical. Management excels in maintaining order and predictability, but leadership thrives in uncertainty. It's not enough to optimize existing resources. Organizations need to tap into the creativity, resilience, and ingenuity of their people to navigate change and seize new opportunities. Leadership fosters the kind of culture where people feel safe to take risks, share ideas, and explore innovative solutions. This approach doesn't just optimize resources, it transforms them, turning individuals into catalysts for growth and innovation. Another key difference lies in how success is defined. Managers often define success in quantitative terms, meeting targets, staying within budget, or increasing efficiency. Leaders, however, define success by the impact on people. They ask questions like, did this experience help my team grow? Are we fostering an environment where everyone can contribute their best? Are we leaving a lasting positive impact on the organization and those within it? This people-focused approach doesn't just benefit individuals, it creates a culture of trust, collaboration, and shared purpose that drives lasting success. Leadership's focus on nurturing potential is evident in how it approaches challenges and setbacks. While a manager might view a mistake as a deviation from the plan that needs immediate correction, a leader sees it as a learning opportunity. They work with their team to analyze what went wrong, encourage open dialogue, and support their team members in growing from the experience. This builds resilience, confidence, and a willingness to take on future challenges without fear. The contrast between management and leadership becomes especially clear in moments of crisis or rapid change. Management's resource optimization strategies often fall short when systems are disrupted and rigid plans no longer apply. Leadership, however, adapts. By fostering trust, empowering individuals, and focusing on potential, leaders create teams that can innovate and thrive, even in the face of uncertainty. This adaptability stems from the belief in people, not just processes. Management maintains control, leadership creates influence. This distinction captures a fundamental difference in how people are guided, inspired, and motivated. Control is about ensuring that everything functions as planned, aligning efforts with established objectives, and minimizing deviation. It is rooted in authority, policies, and systems designed to enforce consistency and predictability. Influence, however, operates on an entirely different level. It is the ability to inspire action, shape perspectives, and foster genuine commitment without relying solely on authority. Where control enforces compliance, influence fosters connection and engagement, creating a sense of shared purpose. When a manager seeks control, their focus is on ensuring that processes are followed, timelines are met, and results are delivered as expected. They monitor performance closely, adjust workflows as needed, and often rely on metrics to gauge success. This approach has its place. It provides structure and accountability, ensuring that chaos is avoided and that an organization can function effectively. But control is limited. It addresses external behaviors without necessarily tapping into the internal drivers that truly motivate people. When individuals feel overly controlled, they may comply in the short term, but often feel disengaged or constrained in the long run. Leadership, by contrast, understands that influence holds a far greater power to inspire lasting commitment. Influence doesn't demand or dictate, it connects, encourages, and aligns people's values with a shared vision. A leader doesn't just ensure that people do what they're told, they inspire people to want to do it. Influence is built on trust, credibility, and authenticity. It stems not from titles or positions, but from the relationships a leader cultivates and the example they set. A leader with influence guides not through commands, but through inspiration, drawing people toward a collective goal with genuine enthusiasm and shared belief. Consider the difference in approach during a team restructuring. A manager focused on control might issue directives about new roles, responsibilities, and procedures. They might address concerns in formal, impersonal terms, emphasizing the importance of following the outlined plan. While this approach ensures that changes are implemented smoothly, it often leaves people feeling uncertain or undervalued. They may accept the changes, but their buy-in is limited to what is necessary to avoid consequences. A leader, however, approaches the same scenario by first seeking to understand and address the concerns of their team. They communicate openly about the reasons behind the restructuring, highlighting the benefits it will bring to both the organization and the individuals involved. They listen to feedback, validate feelings, and demonstrate a genuine commitment to supporting their team through the transition. Through this process, the leader creates influence not by enforcing compliance, but by inspiring confidence, trust, and a shared sense of purpose. Team members don't just accept the changes, they become invested in making them successful. Control often relies on external reinforcement rules, systems, and hierarchies that dictate behavior. Influence, however, taps into intrinsic motivation. A leader with influence understands what drives each individual, whether it's a sense of accomplishment, a desire for growth, or a commitment to making an impact. By connecting these personal motivators to the larger mission, the leader fosters a deep, authentic connection that external controls simply cannot replicate. Influence also has a lasting impact that control cannot match. Control is situational, it works in the moment, as long as the authority enforcing it remains present. Influence, however, endures. A leader with influence creates an environment where people are motivated not by the presence of authority, but by their belief in the leader's vision and values. They carry this motivation forward, acting with commitment and integrity, even when the leader isn't watching. Influence builds trust and loyalty, creating a foundation for sustained success and growth. One of the greatest advantages of influence is its ripple effect. When a leader builds influence, they don't just inspire individuals, they inspire others to become leaders themselves. People who feel empowered, trusted, and valued under an influential leader are more likely to emulate those behaviors with their own teams and peers. This creates a culture of influence throughout an organization where motivation and engagement grow exponentially. Control, by comparison, is far more limited in scope. It relies on centralized authority and does little to inspire others to take initiative or lead by example. The power of influence over control can also be seen in how leaders and managers approach feedback and development. A manager focused on control might give feedback in a way that enforces conformity, correcting behavior to align with specific standards. While this can improve performance, it often misses the opportunity to nurture growth and innovation. A leader, however, approaches feedback as a tool to build influence. They frame feedback constructively, focusing on the individual's strengths and potential while fostering a sense of trust and support. This approach not only improves performance, but also strengthens the relationship, creating a deeper sense of alignment and shared commitment. So let me leave you with a challenge. The next time you're in a position to guide a team, ask yourself not just how will I organize this, but how will I inspire them? And if you're being led, ask yourself, do I feel cared for? Do I feel seen? Am I part of something bigger than myself? Because in the end, management will tell you what to do. But leadership will show you who you can become. Thank you.